sure. Hi everyone, 4th and Sure Tano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of this new DOMi and JD Beck album, Not Tight. This is the debut full-length LP of two musical prodigies, DOMi and JD Beck. The latter is a drummer, the former a keyboardist, and both are mind-blowingly good at what they do. They've also been tearing it up lately with a series of home-recorded live performances, which are very impressive and have been snatched up and put onto Anderson .Paak's Apeshit label. Say what you will about their come-up, but if anybody's proven themselves to be talented enough to be plucked up out of the internet and start working with Anderson .Paak, performing late-night TV, it's these two. So, of course, Anderson features on this project, and no doubt the connections that DOMi and JD have made through their talent and through Anderson's label have led to appearances with Thundercat and Mac DeMarco on this thing, Snoop Dogg, as well as Busta Rhymes. It's also cool to see this record being released via Universal's Blue Note Records, which is industry speak for jazz, as DOMi and JD are playing nothing if not that. The music on this LP is an intensely funky, dense brand of jazz fusion with notes of hip-hop, electronic music, and the chemistry between DOMi and JD is just amazing, incredible, mind-blowing, which you can hear right from the first couple of full-length tracks, which take an instrumental approach. The track WHATUP features lots of tight, speedy, relentless drumming, a sweet and sour chord progression, dizzying solos. Like many of the performance videos these two have uploaded to the internet, this track reads sort of like an informal jam, but there's enough performance highlights along its runtime to be placed on here as a proper track. Same thing goes for the track Smile, where DOMi brings a sort of stuttering lead melody to guide the way. The chord progression on this one is pretty quaint too, and do not miss the very strong synth bass and drum solos. The one thing I will say is slightly holding tracks like this back, though, is just the sound play or lack thereof. The mix on this track and many others here is so freaking dry, which is maybe not as much of a factor when there is a feature on a song, just kind of gives you another sound, another element to pay attention to. The sweet and gentle vocal harmonies from Thundercat on Bowling are quite nice, but the track does end pretty abruptly out of nowhere, so as a result of that, structurally, it does feel a little half-baked. While DOMi and JD can certainly jam their way through nearly any situation, methodically planning a song out from beginning to end doesn't seem to be in the plan sometimes. I get a lot more out of the jam they forge on the track Not Tight, which feels like this insane experiment with a set of chords that just refuse to resolve. There's an endless sense of tension to them, and they ride over this oddly shaped groove that it seems like DOMi and JD are trying to execute as smoothly as possible. In that sense, I would say mission accomplished, because I don't know whether or not to be on the edge of my seat with this one, being laid back and chilling. Either way, the clashed up vibe on this track is truly unique and is going to keep me coming back to this one for a while. Plus, those dueling solo passages between DOMi and Thundercat are just absolutely sick. Herbie Hancock's piano embellishments on Moon are pretty gorgeous and an essential addition to this track. The only thing really holding this one back are the somewhat muddy and muted vocoder vocals, which I think could have come through more boldly. Then Mac DeMarco finds some smooth pockets to sing in on the track Two Shrimps. There's something kind of surreal and haunting about his tiny and boyish delivery on this one, especially with that splash of reverb on it. But the crown jewel collaboration on this project is easily Take a Chance with Anderson .Paak, which features one of the best melodies that I've heard this year. Narratively, the track's a smart concept about growing, love, changing into a better person, and hoping that this individual who you've been with for a very long time is still there with you on the other side of that change. Anderson's skilled and thoughtful verses are a treat, as are his pre-choruses and the outro. So yeah, those are some highlights, but there are some moments in the second half here that I'm a little indifferent toward, like the very woozy sounding Duke, which I think has a warped quality to it I find kind of refreshing. But it seems like DOMi and JD don't have too many compositional plans for it outside of like hitting this particular vibe and then letting the song just kind of disappear out of nowhere. There are also some unflatteringly sour solo passages on the track Space Mountain, which I think are also not helped by, as I was saying earlier, that persistently dry production, which does, yes, provide a lot of clarity, but also not really a whole lot of color. Still, that is slightly made up for by how insane some of the performances are here. DOMi's solo passages on what sounds like a little live studio performance with the song Sniff are mind-melting. And you know what? The track featuring Snoop Dogg and Busta Rhymes and Anderson .Paak on here is pretty gratifying as well. Certainly one more reminder in the track list of how great of a track these two can pull together when they're structuring it out like a formal song, bring in a verse, bring in another verse, bring in a chorus. Those moments on this thing are pretty consistently good. The jams, as far as how gratifying and well developed they are, can be sort of hit or miss. But with all of that being said, this record is generally very good and shows an incredible amount of potential between DOMi and JD. Obviously, their playing respectively is amazing, and their chemistry together is next level. And if the next time around they could bring in more color, more layers, more instrumentation, maybe more guests, more songs or jams that are lengthier, more well developed, that would lead to an even more impressive project, I'm sure. I'm feeling a strong 6 to a light 7 on this one. Transition, have you given this record a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best, you're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like. Please subscribe and please don't cry. Hit the bell as well. Over here next to my head is another video you can check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, DOMi and JD Beck, forever.